Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Swallow 3, stereotypic black and think about mortality. I'm almost halfway there. I'm 115, sleeping inch by inch into a complex chemistry. All the things I wish I'd said. God sleep, some of the floor in these same old memories. God breathe tonight. God sleep, but yet we play this melody. God breathe tonight. .223, and my skin is itching at me like fuck again. The red spots all over me. 3 a.m. Why did I say that thing to you in 2009? In my head it's clear as day. God sleep, racing to the floor in these same old memories. God breathe tonight.
What's up, everybody? Another week, another edition of the show. This week, I'm, pretty happy to have Luke Murphy, no relation to me, Shane Murphy, but from the awesome band Brutalligators, and it's always pretty cool, when you reach out to someone who you admire from afar and they agree to come on the show, and then they always just wonder how I find them. But I did find them, which is the most important part. The music struck a chord with me, and I reached out, and Luke's here today with us just to share some fun-loving stories about his life and music, and some more fun. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Luke.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Thanks for having me. It's, I was just saying, it's pretty cool to actually, get on with somebody who is all the way across the pond, and we just assume that, nobody outside of London really listens to us. So it's great.
Well, why would you assume that when you make such amazing music? Like, you shouldn't just assume that.
I mean, we're just 4 emo losers making, music that really we should have packed up about, 20 years ago.
Well, I'm just an emo loser too. So I mean,
oh, brilliant. Okay, good.
Yeah, we can smell our own from across the pond. So But I mean, you released Still Here a couple of weeks back, and now that that's done, and I know what it's like to try to have to get something accomplished. You spend so much time on it, and it finally gets out into the world, and then it's still not over because you're just trying to figure out something you work so hard on, how it's reaching people. The fact that it reached me is, a good thing. But how do you feel about so far what you've gotten from that release, and how you feel about everything is going so far to date, only a couple weeks after the release?
I mean, to be honest with you, it's already blowing my mind. Like we've been working on this album for so long. I think we recorded the first song back in March 2023, and have just been slowly working on it since then. And so to finally have it out in the world, is, it's just, I don't know, we felt relief to actually get it out there. But, 2 weeks in and already people seem to be listening to it and enjoying it, which again, just, I don't know, whenever that happens, it just blows my mind. So it's, but yeah, we've had pretty good reception so far. We genuinely were not sure. We thought that we might release this album and people go, what the fuck are you doing? Like, no, please go back to the last songs. so yeah, it's been pretty good. We actually just did our album launch show on Saturday down in Brighton, which is a little seaside town in the UK. Nice. And yeah, to have people there and singing along to the songs 2 weeks after release, again, it just, I don't know, fills my heart and blows my mind and makes me worry for their mental state. But
But I mean, you put all this hard work into it. You say back in 2023 is probably when you did the first song. And I do think in today's world, it is pretty crazy. Back in the day when record labels were trying to pump shit out and bands had like 6 months to fucking work on their next album. I mean, do you think that like taking some time though and care and energy kind of lends itself to like the release and then having a record release show and people being in love with the songs already and singing them back to you? I'm more of, I'd rather it take a little longer to put out the best of the best than to, just be like, all right, well, this is pretty good. This song, yeah, we're just going to throw it on the record.
I mean, you think that that's what happened, but actually, no, it's we're not one of these bands that writes, hundreds of songs and whittles it down to the best possible 10. We very rarely shelve anything. I think we've literally shelved maybe like one.
You actually wrote 9 and just added one.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think with this, because with the last record was like a proper sort of cathartic outpouring. It all came together. We had a couple of songs sort of in the bank when we started recording it, and then I went through a divorce, and that was a pretty good catalyst for wanting to write lots of sad, angry music. So they all just kind of like flooded out at that point. With this record, we very much wanted to write something that was a bit more purposeful, and have some kind of like intention behind it. So like we knew, me and Paul sort of is my co-conspirator when it comes to songwriting. We very much sort of started out with this idea of like, okay, let's do a record about acceptance and about sort of coming to terms with ourselves, especially because, we're both old as fuck. And
I don't take that kindly because I'm much older, but that's fine.
You think that, but we just drink the blood of youth to keep us looking young. Now, we wanted to like do something that was very much as I said, like intentional. And so I think the songs just took a little bit more to sort of work out and to figure out and to get them to a point where, I suppose it was that we were getting them to a point where they were happy, but like we were happy with them. But it was, I don't know, it did feel harder to write this record because it wasn't as immediate and as, we were actually having to sit down and go, oh well, shit, what could this one be about? What do we actually, what is acceptance? What is what does it mean to like try and accept yourself? And so so it was but I think it was nice at least to kind of like do that over the period of like 2 years, because it also meant that I don't know, I hope people can see it when they listen to the songs, but there's actually growth in the songs as well, like as went, because we wrote them over such a long period. Although 2 years is a blip. I was thinking something came up about 2020 and I was like, wasn't that 6 months ago?
Yeah, I think it's always going to feel like that. I mean, you know, for me, it's like I go back, oh yeah, you know, 90s, that was like 15 years ago.
Oh yeah, no, everything stopped aging in the year 2000. I think that's I mean, we were at, what was it, we were at it must have been like the 20th anniversary of Clarity last year for Jimmy Eat World, and we were like, how the hell was this released 20 years ago? That can't be right.
Yeah, I mean, I remember going to the 10-year anniversary of the Clarity album. And
exactly.
like,
yeah. And even then I felt old.
Yes, without a doubt. And I think that's like, that's where music is timeless, right? And it kind of like, you know, I always go back to my line of the closest thing in reality we have to a time machine. It is music. Like, it's the only thing that like will bring you back to that specific moment where you can smell the smells, see the sights. You like, it is a time machine. So like when you hear those songs, it's like you're back to where you were when you first heard them. So
100%. I mean, I feel like everybody has, but I've been going on a nostalgia bent for the last sort of 3-4 years, going back to those songs that I listened to when I was like 13, 14, 15. And yeah, as you said, it's almost like you can smell like where you were as soon as you were listening to it. Which was, and you know, for me, those bands, I think everybody's forgotten about anyway. So
yeah, they haven't, but it is weird to see. I mean, that type of era of music. I was just out in October out in Vegas for Best Friends Forever Fest, and Jimmy Eat World was a headliner on the last day. But it's like, it's really funny to me of like being in the section with all the people my age, and it's like the 50-year-olds and above, and who are in the VIP section now because we're old and, you know, we worked really hard to be able to afford that. And then you see all the other side. The GA is just packed with kids having a blast and being like, oh, I love watching that youth, but I am so happy that there's a chair over here.
Oh, 100%. It was, we were at Turnstile a couple weeks ago, and I was so happy, even though I felt like I was about 3 kilometers from the stage. I'm like, no, I'm very happy here. Especially seeing, you know, the about 300 meters of circle pits. And I'm like, no, my back can't handle that at all.
Yeah. I did I saw Turnstile in 2021 at Furnace Fest, and that was like, I mean, it was a revelation, and I love seeing, you know, what's happening for them. I hope it's sustainable. I hope they can continue to do, but it's just like, I remember seeing that and like being like side stage and watching what was happening in this aircraft hangar, and just like being like, I am so glad I am not out there.
Yep. It's I feel like it's one of the good things about being in a band now. Yeah, these days I can watch bands from the safety side stage now.
I don't mind listening to the songs from the monitor. So
exactly, yeah.
It's fun.
Sounds better that way anyway.
Yeah. So I want to dive into like your personal life, your personal growth in music. For me, it was hearing the Beach Boys at 6 years old that kind of brought me to where I am today. And, you know, I always like to find out if you kind of remember that moment as a child when things started to change. Like, there's that 2 pivotal moments. Me, it was hearing the Beach Boys and like wanting to know more about music. Like, it was the first time music clicked with me. And then after that, when I became a teenager and started to find my own way into things. But like, how did music become like a stranglehold in your life?
Yeah. So I suppose, I mean, music has always been a big thing for me. I had an older sister who I would just steal her cassette tapes constantly, and it didn't matter what it was. You know, she went through her girl band stages, R&B stages, hard house. I'll just lap it up. You know, I think it was when she first got her Rage Against the Machine tape, self-titled, and that was just like, holy shit, what is this? But I think at that point it was really embarrassingly, I think the first time that I fell in love with music was Boys to Men, which probably not the regular answer that you get on here.
No, I mean, it's not. I mean, we've come to the end of the road a couple times, but it's.
But it was, I don't know. There was something about that it was. I just couldn't stop listening to. I couldn't stop listening to the tape over and over again, and trying to sing along to it, and little Australian white boy trying to do soulful R&B, and I think it was the point after that changed things. Was I remember hearing Silverchair, who were an Australian grunge band.
13 when Frog Stomp came out. 13?
Yeah. It was. I mean, and I think that's the thing. I think my sister must have been playing like Tomorrow at some point, and I was like, oh yeah, it's loud music. It's kind of like that Rage band. But then hearing Freak on the radio, and it must have been just as I was starting high school, and that was the point that I decided. I'm like, no, I like guitar music now. I like grunge. And that was just opening the floodgates. And I think then sort of finding my people in high school, getting into sort of skate punk and a lot of the sort of like 90s Australian punk bands like Frenzal Rom and Heartaches and not Heartaches, Jesus, Hard-Ons. Heartaches came a lot later. And then getting into like the American, like all of the skate punk, 90s skate punk stuff. So like NoFX and Rancid and of course Blink-182 and all of that stuff. That was the point where I was like, okay, this is my life now. this is my personality 100%. And I don't think I really looked back from there. It was just constant finding little scenes, usually for a few years, and then moving on to another one. And I think it was only must have been around turn of the millennium when sort of pop punk and that like second wave emo started to come through. That's then what kind of like stuck with me forever. And yeah, I think my musical taste has expanded since then, but that's sort of always remained sort of quite a core part of who I am.
Well, it's a like I think that gateway of the pop punk was I think it was so like it was pivotal because it opened up people's eyes to like even the older stuff that didn't get love. And you talk about the second wave of emo. I don't know what second wave you refer to because I don't know what waves are what. It's like I just remember the first time I heard Sunny Day Real Estate when Diary came out, and I was like, this is a different type of music. And I don't know where that falls in for people. I always say
slightly earlier.
Yeah, I always say that's that and Jawbreaker's Dear You are the first two like emo albums ever.
Yeah. I mean, you could say Rites of Spring, but nobody really listens.
But it's not. But, yeah, like people call that, it has a proper name, and that is post-hardcore because it's still hardcore at its essence. Like the emo was more, to me, it's like melodramatic. Like there's more, you can hear the meaning in the songs. You can hear, and that's why when people bring up Rites of Spring as emo, I'm like, you're fucking wrong. It's like, I'm sorry.
No. I mean, I'm 100% like Jawbreaker. See, I came to them later, obviously, because I had to go back. I think the first, I remember, because I was really into pop punk at the time, and I remember going into work. I was working in like a crappy retail store, and somebody I worked with, I was like, oh, I've just been listening to. It must have been like Newfound Glory or some like proper run of the mill pop punk band who was still great, but. I was like, I just found this band and they're so good. And she goes, yeah, you need to check out emo. And I was like, okay. And I went home and sort of Google searched. I think I was on like mp3.com.au, and I found a band called Elmo, and I thought that's what she was talking about. So I came back and I was like, yeah, they're great. They're really good, like really bouncy and fun. She's like, no, you have no idea. And she made me a mixtape of like Thursday. It must have been like Thursday, Cursive, Early, Dashboard. I had some Jawbreaker on there, had a Sunny Day, and I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. That's why it's so like I always go back to, and I mean I hate being the old guy that goes back to just say like how things were so great, and things are still great with music, and there's so much stuff coming out now. But like I think in the 90s, that expression of like there was so many different ways that new music, and there were so many different styles of music that were accessible and became popular to a certain extent that it was like everything was new. And I think that's where it's hard nowadays to like find something new when it
Oh,
comes to
100.
stylization of music.
Yeah. I mean, what? It's like even within hyperpop, I suppose it's like
Yeah.
the first new expression. I don't know. I suppose like, all these things evolve, right?
Yeah.
So all the sort of org core stuff and basically emo bands discovering Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
But it's funny because you're right. Like there's been nothing. I don't feel like there's been much dramatic happen in the past 25
No,
years.
right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
in the past 20 years, like I look at it and I always go back to those. And I guess it's because you're youthful too. I mean, in the 90s, you know, you had regular pop music that was popular. You still had hair metal. You had heavy metal that got popular. You had new metal. You had pop
Yeah.
punk. You had emo. Like you had all this new style of stuff that was coming through. And like, that may have been done before, not really. Like I don't think since like the 70s or there was a big explosion of different styles of music that was just like, holy shit, this is so new. And then it gave people like a home, like a sense of community, because there were so many different pockets you could fall into.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. I mean, and that's what that's definitely what made me fall in love with it, like the community aspect of it, right? It was like I remember the first show I went to, a band called Jebediah, who were just
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe them.
Well, they
Kind of
did the
like
split with Jimmy Eat World.
yeah, they did, yeah. But like they were almost indie pop at times, but still had like punk sensibilities, and I don't know. But anyway, going to see them when I must have been like 13, and going into this shitty little police youth club thing in a backwards suburb out the back of Sydney, and yeah, went out into the I don't know, it wasn't a smoking area because it was an all ages show, but and seeing a whole bunch of people from school there that I would never have talked to otherwise, and I was like, holy shit, we have something in common. And it was like the start of community for me. Like it was the start of these are the people that I can see at shows, and these people I can hang out with, and these are people that I can have something in common with. That isn't just, I don't know, what shitty TV we watched last night.
Now, okay, was that your very first concert you ever went to, or were you dragged to something else? That was just the first one you got to choose to go to.
That was, I'm pretty sure that was my first ever concert.
Wow.
And it was, I remember just being in the car, and we were so lucky in Australia that we had Triple J, which is just still an amazing radio station. And they said on that, they're like, hey, Jebediah are playing at Parramatta Police Boys Club. And I just remember sort of going, oh, I've heard of that band. Hey mum, can I go? And yeah, she was surprisingly just like, yeah, sure, I'll drop you off. And I think it was literally like the next day. And yeah, it was just so on a whim, nothing planned, no friends. I didn't know anybody who was going there. It was just, I'm going to go to this show. And yeah, I think it was the start. Because then, yeah, it was just, you couldn't keep me away from them for years. So
that's amazing for your first show, like to see something like that, and especially a band like Jebediah. Like I haven't heard that name in forever, and it's funny. I'm sitting here in the studio, and right next to me I just pulled it out. It is the Jebediah and Jimmy World split CD sitting right next to me. It's funny,
but also like, I mean, maybe we can just do a whole podcast on this. How the hell did that come about? Like Jebediah were a relatively tiny band from Perth in Australia.
Well, even back in that time, I mean, when that came out, I mean, Jimmy Eat World hadn't like hit yet. I mean, yeah. So let's see. I'm looking at it right now. BWR. So it was Big Wheel Recreation from Boston, Massachusetts. I guess reached out to him to do something together. But yeah,
yeah.
Jimmy Eat World. Was it like? What year did this come out? Look at me now. Now I'm like, I hate when this happens.
I mean, that must have been like late 90s.
Yeah, and they didn't hit until 2001 with really hit with Bleed American. The unfortunate date that album came out, but
yeah, well,
but I mean, I think that music community too, with having bands like Jebediah, and it's always been pretty cool to me to see how far reaching music gets, even back then when like internet wasn't really like this big thing. You know, it was so hard to get bands together, but I always, like, from Australia to the US, like, and Australia's gigantic. I know many Americans think that it is America's a huge country. It's not, because Australia will encompass all of North America and part of South America too.
Yep.
But but just the way that music can travel even back in that time, I mean, to think about it, it is really astonishing that two bands like that were able to, get together and do a split like that. So.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely nuts. I mean, we're going off on tangents here, but it's even it was a band that I fell in love with. Must have been 98, 99, was Unwritten Law.
Yeah.
Who I don't even think that they were that big in the States at that point, because it was I'm talking sort of first EP, second EP, and that first album, the self-titled one. But somehow they got out to Australia and just got a massive crowd, and ended up doing like a whole bunch of releases that were only available in Australia. But I just look at that and go, how the hell did that happen? Like, who brought them out? Who allowed them to how did they have the money to get to Australia? At that point, it's just, but yeah, all these things. And, coming to the UK and talking about Unwritten Law and assuming everybody knew who they were, because I just saw them as this massive band and nobody in the UK knew who they were at all. So
yeah,
but yeah, it does blow my mind, especially in those like pre-internet days, how that happened. But hey, now we've got the internet, and it makes everything both easier and infinitely harder.
Yeah, ain't that the fucking truth? Now, when did you start to play music? Like, what was your foray into that? Like, you go to your first show, you kind of see something crazy, you say you listen to Silverchair, and you're like, okay, hard music. Like, when was it that you wanted to start something?
I mean, I made my parents buy me a guitar when I was 12, because I decided it was after, hearing Silverchair and getting, I think that year it was like getting into Frenzal Rom, and I think it's probably Bloodhound Gang as well. It's just
underrated band. I mean, I love their stuff.
The first song I ever learnt on guitar was Firewater Burn. But yeah, I picked that up thinking, oh yeah, definitely I'm gonna be able to make great music with this. And I sucked so hard for so many years, and I was very unfortunate in that at my school there were some very talented musicians. So they all started bands, and I just kind of worshipped them from the side, and thought, I won't. That's clearly not for me. I'm not as talented as them. And I think it must have been right at the end of school when I started to sing and think, oh yeah, I can do this. Still didn't think that I, had enough chops to be in a band. But I remember doing a crappy showcase gig at a party in like the back garden of someone's house, singing Sugar High from Empire Records. And I was like, maybe I can do this. And it wasn't until must have been university when I met a guy in in my guitar class at university, who was like, I need a singer in my band. You do musicals, don't you? So you can do this. And I was like, I need a bassist in my band too. So, I'd like started fucking about with a guy that I knew just playing in the bedroom. And I was like, we need a bassist. So he came and played bass for us one time. And then I went and had a one practice session with them to sing, and realized that my band was really shit and his band was really good. So so I sacked off my band and just joined them. So that must have been like 2003.
What was the name of that very first band of yours?
Gainsaid. Terrible name. And yeah, we were like proper Thursday from First to Last, Thrice, Finch style emo. And I think even at that point we were, we must have been like mid-20s, and all those guys who were in the band with me were like 5 years older than me. So they were pushing 30, and they were like, we're too old for this, man. But yeah, we did that for a few years, and that was the point where I was like, okay, cool. absolutely. First time I got on stage, I was like proper gig in a pub. I was like, I can't get enough of this feeling.
I mean, if you could bottle that up, I mean, that's God's elixir, as I call it. Like that moment, that feeling of being on stage and sweating and getting through it. It's like, oh man,
it's funny because like people, I suppose I mentioned briefly I'd had like a musical theatre stint in university and high school. And like people are like, oh, don't you ever get scared when you go on stage or like when you go on with your band? And I'm like, no, I want to do that instead of the rest of life instead. Yeah. Just give me that.
Yeah. And it's always the thing too. Like I being on stage, whether it's performing or giving speeches or doing anything, it's like, I love being on stage. The minute I get off stage, I'm like, I fucking hate this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Like I hate this being off of this fucking like it up there. It's almost like you can be there with everyone, but you're also alone. So it's like almost okay. And then you get off and then you have to like. I always think that's where the scariest part comes in. Like the minute your feet get off the stage.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Even now, like we've been so lucky to be able to like play around for the last 8 years and actually get to a point where we've got decent crowds. But even now I'm like, as soon as I come off stage, if I can go and hide in a room somewhere, I'd be quite happy. I mean, usually I just fucking hightail it out the door, get a cigarette, and that's it. Just take care of the voice.
Yeah, there's nothing better than like those couple minutes alone after a big something. We just had our music festival, Mending Through Music, for the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention here on Saturday. We had 16 bands, 2 locations performing, and it was an amazing day. Anyone who's listening to this, thank you so much for all the love and support that you showed for that day and coming out. But one of my favorite parts was in between when I moved it to another location. I got to go in the back green room by us and just sit down for like 5 minutes and like decompress alone. I was like, this is the best.
Yeah, that's it. It's I had the same on Saturday. I was like, I always hate doing this because I feel like an arse for doing it. But when the band before you is playing, and I just take that 10 minutes because everybody's busy watching the band, and I go and just sit in like the green room, collect myself, and I'm like, this is a great moment.
Yeah,
like, I love being on the stage, but this is almost as good.
Yeah, it really is. But I think sometimes I may take it for granted too, for that like moment of solace that you're just like, oh, this is so beautiful. Yeah. So what's going on out there is great, but this is pretty great too. Now, a question when it comes to Brutalligators: if no one ever heard your music before, you tell them you're in a band, complete stranger, you've got 3.5 minutes to show them what it is you do, and you can only play them one of your songs that's out there in the world released today. What one song would you show that stranger?
Oh, it's so hard. It's I know the song that I should show them, which is probably Coffee and Codeine, because it's the one that everybody, I don't know, seems to like, which is really awesome. Like, it's so cool. But for me, I think the song Free.
Repetitive notes and high tones, throat a horse and my knuckles are sore. I don't think this is what knuckles are for. There's holes in your wall and there's holes in your front door. Narrow hallways and closed doors, cotton bed sheets with small spots of red. Pick up a chair just to hit my own head. Now I'm dizzy.
from our second EP is still, I think it's amongst the band as well. Like, it's still one of our favorite ever songs, and we're all so bitter that nobody ever gave a shit about it when we played it live. But so clearly, I'm like, we're never going to make it as a band because we clearly all have terrible taste in our own music. So,
well, I mean, I think people have probably heard me say it one too many times. It doesn't matter. It's not your choice, right? Like, once you create something and you put it out there, it no longer belongs to you. So your opinion matters nothing on your own music after that.
100%, yes. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. And, I'm so fucking happy that people have vibed with whatever we've done. I mean, we literally just wanted to put some shit out there to say that we've done it. It's the first proper release I've ever done from any band that I've been in. Because before that, it was just all demos. And so, that was already ticked off. Like, that was a tick off the list.
Well, demos are music too, man.
I mean, demos are music too. I mean, I hope that none of those demos ever surface again, but because they were pretty bad.
You don't know that. When was the last time you went back and listened to it?
I found some of that first band, Gainset. I found some of the demos that we created around the same time that I found my old lyric book as well. And Jesus Christ, I was going through something there, but clearly didn't have the words to. Well, no, I did have the words. I just stole them off of Thursday mostly. So
it is funny finding those old books. I found it. I don't know why it was in a briefcase. There was a briefcase in my attic. And I was like, what the fuck's in this briefcase? Why did I have a briefcase, first off? And like, what's in here? And it was like old, lyric books and poetry books that I wrote. And then I started reading some of the stuff. I'm like, man, I'm fucking horrible. Like, this was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, I feel that about, my notes app from 3 months ago, but yeah. It's, I don't know. There is something when you just sort of write something down and then finding it without the context of what you were in at that point, you've kind of got to root around and go, what the hell was this? What happened? Who hurt you? But yeah, it was, so I think, sorry, going back to the actual question. Yeah, I reckon it's probably free, but to be honest, like these days, I don't know. I think off the latest album, the one that I want to play people, to sort of, I don't know, get across where I'm at now is definitely Nice Try off the new album. I hate sounding like a douche, like I'm massively up myself, but I am so fucking proud of that song. So,
well, you're allowed to be. It's your creation, right? Like, it's, that's why I used to call that segment when I ask you what song to play, like, pick your favorite child. Like, it's so hard to do, and it's so hard to gauge too what you think someone else is going to be into. That's why, like, I'll do like little things, like what I like to do, like with the show. If you listen to it, like I have 3 songs that I pick, because at the beginning and end of the show, and then the song that you just said. But it's like, it gives people that here's 3 great songs, and if you can't get the band within these 3 songs, then fuck right off. Like, you then just don't listen. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, hey, and that's fine. It's not for everybody. It's fine.
No, and that's one of our. I tell people all the time, like, hey, you don't have to listen to a full episode of the show. Like, I'm a terrible salesman. I do it at our record store too. I'm like, hey, listen, you don't have to spend $50 on this. You can get the same thing for $7 on this record. But I'm just trying to be honest with people. And the same thing, like, you don't have to listen to our conversation, but at least check out the band. The whole goal is you're either going to find something you love, you can find something you hate, but either way, you found something new, and that's that's it. Really, that's the goal.
Out here doing the Lord's work. It's
Now, you said is Free your favorite song you've created to date? Look,
yeah. I mean, Nice Try is definitely going up there now. But I think Free. I don't know. It was the first time that we played something that didn't feel like we were just trying to rip off someone else.
Yeah.
It was the first time where we played something where it just felt like it was, again, I just sound like such a wanker, but it sounded authentically us. Also, it's the only song where I was actually allowed to play guitar on the recording. So it's
There it is. There's the true Rhys.
yeah. I even have a little shitty solo in there as well. It's I mean, it's 3 notes. It's not really a solo, but but yeah. And I think it was also like, it was one of those songs where it was even, you know, from a lyrical point of view, it was such a vivid memory of mine, and like a raw memory of mine of like awful, you know, being in a toxic relationship and awful fights that we'd have. And I don't know, it was just, again, like, you know, when you just write, on the flip side of what we were saying before, when you write something and you're like, shit, like I've done it, like I've captured it in that one line, or and you know, and some of the bits in it, you know, picking up a chair just to hit my own head, like literally, I remember one time I was throwing, I mean, I've already resolved all of this in therapy, but you know, I was having a little fucking temper tantrum on my own, and picked up a chair to throw it across the room after, you know, everybody had left the house, and I picked the chair up in this big dramatic movement, and the base of the chair actually fell off the bottom of the chair, and this big metal base, and smacked me square in the head. And I was like, if that isn't a metaphor for how much of a dick that I'm being right now, like that is, yeah, it was the point where I was like, you know what, I need to sort my shit out.
Yeah.
And so then, you know, years later, being able to actually capture that feeling and put it down and almost like exercise those demons again was just really like cathartic.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a lot of the times, you know, I think that's where the magic happens, when real catharsis comes to songwriting, right? You're kind of like, you're creating your own therapy for yourself, but hopefully in showcasing exactly everything you're going through, someone else catches on to that. And that's where lyrics are so important. I think taking the time at certain aspects of things, of figuring out what's going on, and like hearing a line and someone else say something crazy, like I always go back, like there's moments in songs where I'm just like, oh, well, now I'm all in. Now I have to listen to that song over and over again because of like one line in the song.
Yep.
You know, I sit like last year, was it last year or 2 years ago? I don't even remember, because we don't know what time thing is, but like Versus the World put out a song, and it became my summer album, and it was because of a simple couple lines in a song where I was just like, fuck. I'm like, and it was "The good die young, the bastards live forever, and I'm too old to die young now." And that was it. I was like, yep, there it is. That's me in a nutshell.
Yep. I have the exact same. I'm very much the same. It's like I'm always been a lyrics person. It's really funny because it's like, so me and Paul, who you know, we start the songs usually, and which is really good because I'm lyrics and his music, and he's always a music guy. Like, it's when he shows me a band, it's because, or a song that he's fallen in love with, it's always because of like, he picks up on the emotion in the music, and like he can, it's always, you know, oh, the tone on this guitar is just so gorgeous, or, you know, the way that it swells here. And I'm like, oh yeah, but this one line in this one song, you know, the music's possibly dog shit, but this one line in the song is just makes it one of the best songs ever written. Yeah, I had it last year with, I mean, and I'm not saying that the music is dog shit because it's absolutely phenomenal, but Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties, that last album, In Lieu of Flowers, was just absolute masterclass in songwriting. And it was exactly the same thing. It was like I heard one song and they had that one line in it. What was it? It was the stained glass light just punched me in the chest. And it was like, I knew exactly where he was. I could picture it. I knew the venue that he was in Glasgow. Like, it was just, it put me straight in exactly what he was feeling at that point. And I'm like, I'm all in. Like, it doesn't matter now. It's like anything, this whole rest of the album could be dog shit, which it's not. It's phenomenal. But it's like, I'm in. This is the album of the year straight away.
I mean, and that's the visualization, right? That's what comes like, and I love that. Like, that's my thing where I know something's good when I can automatically, I just become transfixed and
putting myself into like, say, a music video of what the song is about, and I'm like, oh well, this song it could be dog shit to someone else, but I'm like, no, this I envisioned everything that he was saying, like or she was saying. I'm like, I get it. I totally get it.
100% yes. It's I'm glad I'm not alone in that.
No. That's when you know something's good, right? It's when you get the goosebumps, when the hair stands up, like you just know, like you're like, fuck, that's it. Which I think is crazy that doesn't happen to everybody with music. Which I met people like, I've never gotten goosebumps from music. Like, well, you're fucking soulless, and I don't want you here. So please leave.
Yeah, it's usually, I mean, my opening gambit whenever I talk to anybody new, it's like, oh, what kind of music are you into? And as soon as they say, oh, I just listen to a bit of everything, I'm like, okay, cool, I can move on now then. Yeah. We're not on the same wavelength. It's, no. I'm going to bore you, you're going to bore me. It's fine.
Yeah. Someone asked me what I listen to, I'll list 900 bands. Yeah, so anything of that realm is what I'm really into.
Yeah. It's although I think it is good to be a bit, as I said, like music tastes have broadened, and so now I feel like anybody who says anything, if they can pick a genre of music, there's very few where I'm not going to be able to go like, oh, cool, yeah, I really like X band or X group or X artist, and I'm like, I've got the connection. This is good.
Now, speaking of bands or artists, how about a band in your life or artist that never lets you down? It's that like constant in your life when you don't know what you want to listen to, you just always find yourself going back to it. Like there's people can have favorite bands but I have, my favorite bands and my bands that never let me down that I'm always going to be listening to just because I know it's going to be great when I turn it on.
Yeah. I mean, I very much go through phases. Like the bands that I listen to nonstop for like 3 years, I then will usually forget. It's classic ADHD. And then, 5 years later, they come up on a playlist. I'm like, oh, shit, they're great. But there have been a handful. I think one of them for me is there's a band in the UK called Tellison who aren't very big. I don't know. They were one of those bands that should have been huge and just never quite made it. But I saw them.
I think they kind of made it.
I mean, they've had successful albums, and they can play good shows now, and which is great. But I saw them support Get Up Kids. I'd gone through like an indie phase for a few years, and a friend of mine was like, "Hey, let's go see Get Up Kids" when I'd moved over here, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember Get Up Kids. They were great." And usually, if it's like somebody that's a bit nostalgic, and if it's like, say for example, if I'm going to see a new metal band now, I might be a bit of a dick and miss the supports. But for whatever reason, we got there early, and Tellison came on stage, and it was that like pivotal turning point. I was like, I'm back in. I'm locked back into this music, and they have not put a foot wrong. Actually, no, that's not true. They have put a foot wrong because they haven't released an album now in almost 10 years. But it's apparently coming.
It's been over 10 years, right? I think
it was
2015.
Yeah,
16,
I think it might have been 15. Yeah, but
I think it was 15.
Oh, that
if I had a producer on the show, it would be easy. They could tell me. But yeah, it was 2015. So
But they haven't. I don't think they've ever produced a wrong song. Like they've not. It's just constant gold, and I don't know how they do it. It's just and they're just such nice people as well. And so it's we've been super lucky in that we've even got to a point where after fangirling over them for it must have been at that point like 6 or 7 years, we got to play with them, and I was absolutely like kicking myself, telling everybody that I knew that we were playing with Tellison, and all the people outside of the scene were like, sorry, who? And just did not understand the enormity of it to me. But like that, I don't know. They're one of those bands that I will revisit every few months and just listen to them nonstop for a week or two. I think they're just perfect.
That moment too, like you bring up, I've had these moments like where I'm trying to explain to someone how someone's music and who they are so important to me, and like I'm like, yeah, no, I had so and so come play the store, and they're like, who is that? I'm like, fuck, like
They're so important in my life, and they have been for like 30 years, and they just played my shop, and you're like, oh, I don't even know who that is. I'm like, man, what's wrong with me?
I always have to try and quantify it. Like, I had the exact same when Gareth from Los Campesinos messaged me online to be like, hey, what time are you guys on tonight? Because, I've got to get my bus back home. And I was like, holy shit, Gareth from Los Campesinos is coming to see us? Like, that blew my mind, because they're one of the other bands that have been a constant for me since like 2012. But trying to explain that to anybody else, I'm like, they've sold out the Troxy multiple times. And that's the only way. They were in a Budweiser advert. That's, you've seen Mitchell and the Machines.
I do that all the time too. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, like, listen, he opened for Oasis. Like, I'm like trying to explain to people like who certain artists are, and they're like, oh, maybe I know that. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. It's
sometimes I just think I'm cooler than I actually am. So
I think that's it. It's just the curse of being incredibly cool.
Yeah, I mean that's it. We know a lot of stuff people don't. We think it makes us cooler. Meanwhile, it just does not at all whatsoever.
But in our own heads, it does. So that's fine.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about a big freedom day. The day you get your driver's license, if you have it. But I always call it's that first day you get to like blast music in a car when you're going to pick up a friend or something. It's like your first smell of freedom. Do you happen to remember what you were listening to?
Well, I did that really late. So I was always the passenger princess who would pick up the CD wallet, or usually come prepared with my own CD wallet in my friends' cars and make them listen to stuff. So I think, back then when I was passenger princess mode, it was always it was probably Friends of One. It was probably Meet the Family and Man's Not a Camel. And just playing the most puerile shit possible. To be like, isn't this hilarious and great? But yeah, I think by the time, to be honest, just to disappoint you completely, I think by the time I actually got my license, I was probably really excited to be able to put on some Broadway musicals and belt along to them by myself. So
hey, that's totally fine too.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I have not done that myself. So.
See, I have I've got the opposite of. I remember the first time I got into a car with somebody. It must have been like first year of uni, and he'd just gotten his license, and I was so excited because he had an insane CD collection, and so I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to play all the stuff I want, and he was just like, no, this is what we're putting on. And it was the first time I'd what was it? It must have been, I think it was the first time I heard Bowling for Soup, Girl All the Bad Guys Want.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, whoa, okay, shit, pop punk's good again. And yeah, like diving into like, because I was like, oh yeah, Dashboard Confessional's great. And it was like, if you've listened to Further Since Forever, right? I was like, no, I haven't listened to much of them. I downloaded one song and it was okay. He's like, okay, fine. We're deep diving into the albums now. And yeah, that lives in my head rent free.
Yeah. Which one of those bands, I mean, you mentioned Further Seems Forever, and I think it's, everybody calls it like the starting point for Dashboard, for Chris and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of true, but they're also a band that continue to put out great albums. Even, like John Bunch, just, God rest his soul, a legend. And I think he brought some amazing, like, honestly, I think a lot of it, I'd probably pick 2 songs with Chris and the rest would all be with John, where I'd just make the greatest hits of Further Seems Forever because they were just so great.
Yep. I mean, I've gone back afterwards, and that band, I mean, absolutely fuck them for having such a string of good vocalists.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, hogging it all for themselves. Like, it's just not fair. But yeah, I mean, they were one of those bands that, I don't know, I always felt really intelligent listening to them. Because as I said, like at that time, I think I was probably deep into fucking Good Charlotte and Simple Plan and stuff as well. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I still put it on occasionally, but
it's okay.
It's we've actually got it next year. We've got a big festival coming out to the UK, and the two headliners are Good Charlotte and Knocked Loose. And I'm looking at it going, I mean, I should go and see Knocked Loose.
They're
But
great. Yeah. I think it's funny. There's a time frame, and it's like it really is like this huge time frame in my life where like I think I was just out on everything, and it was like I think it was pretty much like after the first albums of like everybody when things started to blow up, like Thursday's Full Collapse, loved it. Taking Back Sunday, and then like you had the Sum 41, the Good Charlotte, and then when things started blowing up, I was just like out on it all. I was like, I need to find some more underground shit because I just can't deal with all this stuff getting popular right now.
yeah, I think I did the same because I ducked out because it must have been about 2005 2006. I started to duck out on it a little bit and went into indie again, and then came back. Actually, I came back because of Brutalligators. Like properly came back. So Taliesin were like the love. So that must have been like 2012, 2013. And there were a few bands that I picked up from that. So like Dananan and Ackroyd and Los Campesinos and a few others. But I still sort of verged on the indie side of things and didn't really go into anything heavier. And it was meeting Paul from Brutalligators who we utterly randomly like I was promoting a folk punk gig locally and he worked in a record shop that I was like, hey, can you sell tickets? And he was just floored that there was somebody locally who had somewhere near the tastes that he had. And so he was like, hey, do you want to get a coffee? And he sat down and we were talking about bands and all the old bands that we loved. And he introduced me to Prawn, Dikembe. It must have been Mobo as well. And like, I was like, why? How did I miss out on all of this?
Yeah. Love those. Prawn was. I love hearing when someone mentions Prawn because anybody I ever mention them to, everybody's like, I don't know what that is. And then I'm like, I pull out all my records. I'm like, all right, well, we're going to go on a Prawn moment now.
Oh my God.
Everything.
I feel like Prawn and Dikembe are two of the most underrated sort of recent emo bands.
Dikembe, another one. Elway, I don't know if you know Elway.
Yeah, Elway as well. Yep.
Another one. Like these bands that like people, I'm just like, how do you fucking not know who these people are? Like,
they should have been huge. They
Yeah.
should have been huge. It's even I feel like the same with, although I think they are getting their dues a little bit now, but like Michael Cera Palin as well. Like Michael Cera Palin, I feel like have just rode under the radar just a bit too much. They should be as big as fucking Hot Mulligan and Mum Jeans. Like they're the ones who deserve it. I mean, not saying that the other two don't, but like, yeah, I feel
it
like
is weird to see that. It is weird to see that, and you know, I always look back to a lot of bands that came that were actually the pioneers that gave opportunities to bands like Thrice and My Chemical Romance, and like they were opening up for bands that like Mineral, Elliot, Curse, like they were opening up for these bands, and those other ones made it. Good for them, but like the guys that were taking them out, they should have been the ones to make it. And I also think it's kind of rude that I've never really seen those bills reciprocated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's where I kind of check out on certain bands where people are like, oh, you're just think you want to be underground. And you just like, I go, no. I go, I'm also that guy that, you pay it forward, right? Like now you are huge and now fucking, My Chem, you're playing fucking Wembley Stadium and like bring out the bands that brought you out.
100%. Yes.
Like that's what should fucking be done. And that's where I kind of get checked out where I'm just like, nah, fuck that, man. Like you are the band. I don't care your promoters, your management or whatever. You pay it forward so they can have a win as well.
100%. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I even see it today. Like there are some bands, I won't name names, but there are some bands that are getting a lot of attention. We might have already mentioned one of them. And I don't know. It's like they're putting on the trendy sort of post-punk, post-punk kind of stuff that I'm like, this isn't your scene even. Like, and it feels like they're only putting them on because they're the current darlings of, you know, Six Music or
Yeah.
Pitchfork or whatever. And I'm like, this isn't, because, you know, some of these bands we were watching 6 or 7 years ago in much smaller venues and thinking they were fucking amazing, and they were playing with the right bands then. So it's like, why wouldn't you, I don't know, reciprocate that? Now you're playing 10, 20, 30,000 person venues.
I'm all, that's all I would ever like say, like, and I all the time I've said it. It's just, it's the right thing to do. No matter who, like, you hold all the cards, right? Like, if you do become a band that becomes very popular, I mean, the way record labels work nowadays, I mean, there's not much left for a lot of record labels to hold people hostage with. So if you're the artist, you can hold them hostage, say, no, this is the band who's going to come out with us.
Yep. I mean, and some bands have done it, right? Like,
some bands have done it, yes. I'm not throwing an umbrella over everybody, but there's a lot of bands where it's just like, no, man. Like,
it was, like, even yeah, it's like, so, I mean, so far out of this scene, but even seeing like somebody like I saw the other day that Ed Sheeran did some massive show, you know, some stupidly huge stadium show, and brought out this band Nizlopi out, who, you know, were the people he idolized when he was younger. And I'm like, see, that's the way that it should fucking happen, because, you know, Nizlopi are probably playing like, I don't know, max sort of 500 to 1,000 cap rooms, and would never get that opportunity. And that is just so cool that somebody who is, you know, I don't know, in so many other ways could be an absolute cock, that it's like, oh no, actually, but then, you know, it makes me look at bands in our scene and go, I mean, fucking Ed Sheeran does it. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, and that was like, so Oasis, you know, the big thing this year was Oasis, but the fact that they brought out their favorite band,
yeah,
when they were kids to open for them,
yeah,
of why they became musicians, like that, if those cunts can do it,
yeah,
like,
that's it. I mean, yeah, and it's, I mean, they're horrible human beings. Come on.
and they brought out, this is the band of why my brother and I fell in music. So they're coming out to open for us. Like, that's what, like, if they can do it, anyone can do it.
Yeah, that's the way it should be.
Yeah. All right. Now that we've done shitting on people,
it's just my MO is shit posting constantly.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not allowed on social media.
That's why my wife runs all the social media for everything we do. You don't want my fingertips going on your fucking keyboard like that. Now, you may have mentioned it because you belted out in the car, but like, what would someone be really surprised to hear you get out of all the bands we've been going through today? Someone be really surprised that, like, you get tons of enjoyment out of listening to a certain artist. Who would it be that people are like, holy shit, I never thought, you know, Luke would listen to that?
Yeah, it's I mean, I don't think anybody who has talked to me for more than 5 minutes definitely knows about the musical theater, so it's not that surprising. I think, you know, if we're talking about those artists that I go back to, I think one artist that I've gone back to since maybe 2004 consistently is Jamie Cullum.
Okay.
The pop jazz pianist.
I get it.
I mean, I think part of it is just that it's the most fun shit to sing. There have been so many times where I'm like, why don't I know more pianists? Like, why can't I start a little side project that's like weird jazz pop?
You can. It's never too late.
I mean, I can. I probably shouldn't, to be honest.
Pretty much everyone, like, especially here in the States, I mean, a piano was part of your furniture in the 80s growing up. Everyone had a piano in their house, and everyone started on piano lessons. The only problem was no one kept going. So it was because it was so goddamn hard, and all the teachers just wanted to teach you fucking classical piano in theory when you're a fucking 7-year-old, and that just doesn't work.
Yep. I mean, I've got a piano sitting next to me right now, and it's like I probably touch it once every 2 months, and I'm so sad about that.
Well, then when we're done here, you need to go spend a couple hours on it and start your own fucking new thing.
Yeah. It's Christmas jazz music. There we go. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Do you remember the last song you cried to?
Oh, Oh, that's a really good question. Probably, again, this is just gonna sound so lame, but um, Ceilings by Lizzie McAlpine.
The fact that
I,
you even know it, I love.
I mean, I wish that I had a cooler answer than that, but I was very lucky to get married.
Don't forget, we just think we're cool. We're not cool,
exactly.
so you don't have to have a cool answer.
No, I was very lucky to get married for a second time, part 2 Electric Boogaloo. And and that was the song that I wanted to be our first dance, but even my partner was like, really? Like, come on, we can do something cooler than that. We ended up choosing Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit, so
okay,
that was
much better.
Yeah. But I remember when I was like thinking of songs and I listened to that song and I could just, I don't know, it brought up a lot of emotions of both, shit that's gone down in the past 10 years and the amazingness of where I found myself now. And yeah, it's I mean, that and the latest John Lewis Christmas ad in the UK, but that's that's different because that's a television ad, so you can cry to those at any point.
Yeah. All right, 5 minutes left to live. Meteors hurling into the earth. You have to listen to one song and one song only. What are you listening to?
You know what? I've already talked about it, but give me Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties, Alone at St. Luke's. That song is, I think, one of the most perfect songs to ever be written.
I love it.
It's I mean, and I know that it's a bullshit side project that is completely fabricated and based on fictional characters, because clearly he's not got a sad enough life to mine his own personal trauma. But but Jesus Christ, those songs hit hard.
You're allowed. People are allowed to do what they want.
Oh, I'm full of judgment over here.
Yeah. All right. Another horrible thing's happening. Your house is on fire. All living creatures, people, everything is out safely. But you get to run back in to grab one musical thing that means the most to you. What are you running back in for and taking out?
Oh, I think I'd perish in the fire, to be honest. I think I'd get in there.
You're not that fast?
No, I think I'd get in there and just get absolute fucking choice paralysis. Like, it's yeah. Oh, that's a tough one. I'm looking around me. I've got a little office that's just filled with all my musical crap, and I'm looking around, going, what would I choose? Yeah, no, I think that was too hard for me. I think that's way too hard. Actually, you know what? I'd probably go and I'd save a record, which is really sad. But I think
It's not sad.
Yeah, I think I'd save my copy of the Your Name soundtrack by Radwimps. Which again, it's eclectic taste. But I searched so fucking hard for that record. So when I eventually found it and paid way too much money for it, I've never let it go.
I get it. The fact that I own a record store doesn't mean that my own collection in my house isn't, my prized possessions. Where I just had one of my holy grails show up recently.
Oh, no.
Was Jeff Buckley's Grace original press, sent to me by a friend who owns a record store as well, and said, "Hey, one of your grails came," and just had it sent to me. So that was.
Was that sent in like a locked metal case to make sure?
It was very well wrapped. I wasn't expecting it, and it just happened to be. I got home from work, and there was and you know what record boxes look like, and it was a big record. I'm like, I didn't order this like a ton of records from anywhere. Everything gets shipped to the store, and then I saw where it was from, and I opened it up, and I literally had like tears in my eyes. And my wife said, "You're a nerd."
I mean, yeah.
I'm like, you don't understand, and you never will understand. So don't worry about it. This is Jeff Buckley's Grace, an original pressing. This is a grail of mine. Okay, so
see, this is
right off.
Yeah, like I gave up. I used to like run a little vinyl side business, doing like vinyl subscriptions. So it was great because it basically meant any new record I could just, get for myself for free, which was amazing. But I had to stop it because I'm running out of space here, and I thought that was the right decision to do. And then Paul, the cunt, started working in a record shop, and now like he's my drug dealer, he's my pusher. It's like and the bad thing is they have such a good like used vinyl throughput as well. So it's not just even the new stuff; it's all of the. He's like, "Oh, this came in the shop today." I'm like, I can't afford it.
It's the worst. Like people are like, "Dude, it's so cool. You've loved music for so long. You opened a record store. Like, didn't you pare down your collection?" I'm like, I did, and now it's just growing again because like so much stuff comes in, and now trying to be a businessman with it too. It's like, well, I really want to bring this record home, but I just paid way too much for it, so I kind of have to sell it and make my money back. But it's like, it's such a good record. It should come home with me, but it can't.
Yeah, I'm also the worst when it comes to vinyl as well, because even if I find my holy grail and I pay, way over the odds for it, as soon as I get it home, I'm fucking cracking that sleeve. I am pulling it out straight away and it's going on. I don't believe in keeping shit for posterity.
People that keep shit sealed, it boggles my mind. Like people come in and they have all these records that they want to sell and they're sealed. And I'm like, why do you have these? Like it's supposed to be listened to.
Yeah.
I can't like people, and it sucks because then I'll have sealed records to sell. And like, a bunch of Metallica stuff came in, original stuff sealed. I'm like, okay, well, it makes it an ungodly amount of money because it is sealed. And it's going to have to go to someone who doesn't want to hear it. I'm like, so sometimes I've even passed on people who come in with like rare stuff that's still sealed. I'm like, I don't want it. Like,
yeah,
most of the people that come in here, they want to listen to stuff.
That's it. It's the way it should be. I've definitely got sealed stuff in my collection, but that's just because I've bought it and then forgot straight away that I bought it. So
yeah,
literally going through my collection the other day and I pulled something out and went, oh my God, I didn't realize I had this.
That's why years ago I made this. I used to travel a lot around the world and the country for work. So anytime I'd land, first thing I'd look up beside my hotel was record stores near me and music venues. And it just came to a point where I was coming back with an extra suitcase filled with records and like not listening to them right away. I'd file them. So then I had to come up with this little thing where, okay, there's a crate directly in front of my record player. If I leave for a work trip and that crate is filled, I can't come home with anything because I have to listen to it before I put it away.
Smart. Yeah, that's very smart. That's very smart. It's I really need that because I've just run out of shelf space. So my plan for the next few months is to build more shelves. So.
Yeah. I've kept you here way too long. So before we go into our final segment of the show, I'd love to give you the opportunity to, tell everybody that's listening how to find what it is you do, find out how they can support you, purchase stuff from artists as I try to push as much as I can, whether you got $1, $5, anything to help a band that you actually enjoy listening to. Every dollar helps them go to help create the next song that you're going to love. So how can people do that to reach out and support you and find out what it is you're doing?
Well, the good thing is we have an incredibly stupid band name that nobody else is going to have. So if you just search for Brutalligators, we are very easy to find, but brutalligators.bandcamp.com is probably the best place to find the random shit that we're putting out. And then if you do find us on any of the social medias, I mean, it's usually whatever is taking our fancy that week, to be honest. So we're mercurial, we go all over the place. But we do kind of hang out, and so search up Brutalligators, and if it's okay, I'd also like to give a plug. So Paul and I from Brutalligators also run a little vinyl subscription thing in the UK called Nothing Sounds Good, that I would highly recommend if any of your listeners are over on our side of the world. We send out DIY. Basically, our whole thing is to just share good DIY indie punk, emo with more people. So we try and find like good bands that not everybody's heard of, and send out their records and get them out to a wider audience.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so that's the two main things that we do.
That is God's work. That's what we try to do here too.
It's the
We don't discriminate. We have other things other than punk and indie and emo, but
yeah, I used to do that, but you know, I was like, no, I want to make a business that is utterly unviable and will never be able to break even. Yeah, just really dig that hole for myself.
Hey, I just did it. We started our record label here too, so I figured between having a podcast that makes $0, having a record store that makes $0, having a music venue that makes $0, I might as well start a record label as well that'll make $0. So I mean, I'm just gonna go broke doing everything that I love and just be like, well, at least I did it.
I mean, to be honest, if you're doing side projects and they're actually financially successful, then you're probably a bit of a loser. So
yeah, I'd rather be cool and poor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, we are in our final segment, which is our weekly 3 segment. It's 3 things that you're listening to right now that you'd like people to check out. You're going to give me 3 things you're listening to, and then I'm going to give you my 3.
Alrighty. So are we talking albums or songs?
Artists. Yeah.
Artists, great,
Yeah.
Perfect. So for me, it's Soot Sprite, who are a phenomenal sort of shoegazy kind of emo, but more on the like shoegaze meets indie pop side of things. From down Exeter way, their record this year was just one of the best things that I've heard in a long time. On a similar vein, Suds as well, who are a great band out of Norwich in the UK. Again, it's very light, very melodic, kind of, I don't know, Great Grandpa-esque, Future Teens-esque. But that record is just hitting so good. And then another one, a tiny band from Nottingham called Every Face Becomes a Skull, which is the most brutal 19 minutes that you'll have. I mean, it's still very emo core, but it was just, I've not been blown away by something unexpectedly like that for a while.
You kind of have to be with a name like that.
Oh, and the weirdest thing is, like, we met this guy because he put us up when we were on tour once, and the meekest, loveliest, nicest guy you've ever met. Does like Japanese translation for work, and is just this, like, really, like, I don't know, just kind of like stereotypical, what you'd imagine, a nerd in the best possible way. But the nicest person. And then the music they make is just face-meltingly brutal, and it's so good.
It is so crazy that there are people like that. We had a band play. Guy comes in like, mechanic uniform, shaved head, longest beard in the world. Guy's like 6'7", just built a muscle. The music's absolutely insane. Same thing. You're just tearing your face off. And then afterwards is the nicest human being to ever walk the face of the earth. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I love that so much, though. It's when people just completely unexpectedly surprise you. I don't know. It fills my heart with joy.
I love it. Awesome. All right. Cool. 3. My 3 for this week. My first one is a band called Spring Ahead Fall Apart. The name of the album is Blanket Statements. I was listening to them a lot prior to this Saturday, because this Saturday they just headlined our Mending Through Music Festival. We put on a great band from New Jersey, great emo core band, all over the place with their music. So really good. Next is a band called Raccoon Tour. Name of the album, The Denton Weaver. Very awesome indie rockish band. Just really cool to have fun with. They're a fun indie rock band.
That's what you want.
And last but not least, a band called Julie. Just one word, Julie. My Anti-Aircraft Friend is the name of the album. Very shoegazy. That kind of got that college rock shoegazy vibe going. So,
oh hell yeah! I feel like that's coming back at the moment.
It's having a major comeback, and
Yeah.
there are so many bands out there that are doing it, and there's so many that are actually doing it well that it's surprising to me, because a lot of people just kind of grab onto things and try to do it because it's a new thing. But there's a lot of bands out there right now that are doing it fucking great.
I just feel like that there are a whole bunch of bands who really got into dream pop, and then somehow somebody put a My Bloody Valentine record in front of them.
I said, when I heard someone do it, I go, so basically this person was listening to Slow Dive and My Bloody Valentine and said, hey, let's do this.
See, that's what you want. That's what you want.
Yeah. But Luke, thank you so much for spending well over an hour with me today. And the biggest thank you really is for creating the music that brought us together. That is, to me, the most important thing in the world. That's why I started a nonprofit called Mending Through Music. It's a great way to meet people, be able to talk about people's feelings, to be able to help people. And music is the thing that binds us universally throughout the world. You don't have to speak the same language. You don't have to be from the same place, but you can find a common thing to be in love with and to meet new people through music. So what you do is important. The music you created is already important in my life, and I hope we get it to be important in other people's lives. So thank you so much for creating what gave us this time to spend with each other.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on. Honestly, it means the world.
Well, everybody know what time it is now. It's time to go out, listen to Brutalligators, and have a great fucking time.
Wanna lay down on the floor. And when I sleep, don't wanna recall my dreams. Wanna lay down, wanna lay down. Don't wanna eat, just give me coffee and codeine. Wanna lay down on the floor. And when I sleep, don't wanna recall my dreams. Wanna lay down, wanna lay down.
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.